Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Space News for Friday, December 14th. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kyle Henry. Let's talk about what's going on in space.
Never want to hold again.
Falcon Heavy is on startup.
Go Atlas. Go Centaur. Status check.
Go Delta.
5, 4, 3.
Ignition.
The Chang 4 probe that was launched last week by China has now entered into lunar orbit earlier this week. It entered into a 100 by 400 kilometer orbit and will attempt the first ever landing on the far side of the moon on January 3rd. So it's got a couple weeks in lunar orbit. We'll be examining everything and making sure it's all good, and they'll be checking out all the systems. Good luck to China as they attempt this historic mission. Staying with the moon, Roscosmos has announced that they want to build a super heavy rocket. Now, this rocket would be used for an uncrewed flight around the moon and could possibly be used for a crewed flight. However, that would need more money for development. It would cost right now around 1.5 trillion rubles, or which is equivalent to 22.6 billion US dollars, and the launch could happen as soon as 2028. I'll be honest, unless this is a new version of Angara or a new version of Soyuz 5, I don't see this thing ever getting off the ground. Honestly, I don't see a Roscosmos where both Soyuz 5 and Angara are still flying, or are flying at the same time. Like, one of those is going to have to win here, and I don't know which one it's going to be, but one of those is going to have to win. Russia can't have two heavy lift rockets flying at the same time. I don't see their business practices for one working, or even their economy working. Like, yeah. We're gonna keep with the moon again, and we're gonna talk about NASA's plans for a reusable lunar lander. NASA is seeking commercial partners for this lander, and it will begin testing in 2024 with a possible crewed landing on the moon in 2028. Now, I don't know this for certain, but I think the likely candidates would be SpaceX with the Starship, or Blue Origin with New Armstrong. That's a system that has been rumored that they're working on. Bezos has obviously expressed interest in going to the moon. And obviously I think Boeing could probably throw in a reusable lander as well. I know they have their Mars lander that would be launched atop an SLS 1B, so that could probably be retrofitted and used in or on the moon. So yeah. NASA wants to build reusable lunar landers, and I think this is a great idea given that they're working with commercial companies to do it. And staying with NASA, an RS-25 aborted during its engine firing test earlier this week. Now, the goal of this test was to test the engine at several different mixture ratios of liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen. And during the test, basically right after it started, there was a fire seen around the power head of the RS-25, and the engine, and they did abort the test, as I said earlier, after the issue was noticed. No reason has been given yet as to what caused this incident, but I'm sure the NASA team are working on it, and we'll update you when we actually know something. We said last episode that Northrop Grumman was going to be conducting an Orion Abort test, or abort motor test this week, and they did do that. This abort motor is now qualified for flight, or for crewed flight. And really, the goal is to hopefully never have to use this besides on the Ascent Abort test that's scheduled for next year, but it's always good to have these things tested and make sure they worked. You know, if something goes wrong, you want to be able to get your crew out of there and keep them safe. So yeah. And sticking with NASA, our final real piece of NASA news for this episode is the Parker Solar Probe has sent back its first pictures. You can see them up now. In this, we see a coronal streamer, and we see Mercury, which is the big, bright white dot in the middle of it. So, really cool picture. Besides the two things that I pointed out, I couldn't tell you what's actually going on in this picture besides that. I mean, obviously, it's really close to the moon. This was obviously during the first perihelion, so good luck to the Parker team. I think they're going to start getting back their data sometime soon here. So, going to start learning some stuff about the sun. Ooh. And now, for the big news of the week, Virgin Galactic has launched the first crew from U.S. soil since the end of the Space Shuttle program in July of 2011. This was the first crewed launch to hit space since then. Now, the crew reached 82.7 kilometers, which is past the U.S. definition of 80 kilometers for space. However, it's not past the international definition of 100 kilometers, but the FAA has said that they will be giving the astronauts, or giving the pilots, FAA astronaut wings. And that was the crew of Mark Forger Stunkey and Frederick C.J. Struchow? Sorry guys, I'm terrible with pronouncing names. But during this amazing historic flight, they reached a speed of 2.9 Mach, which is 2.9 times the speed of sound. So, really great job out of Virgin Galactic. They launched a crew into space before Christmas, so they proved me wrong. So good job, guys. But yeah, they still haven't reached the Kármán line, but this is close enough to space for us to be celebrating. So yeah, good job. And we have a couple of launches coming up in the next couple of days. First off, Rocket Lab is gearing up for its launch. They had scrubbed on Wednesday's attempt due to weather. However, the weather has cleared up and it should be launching tomorrow night between 11 p.m. Eastern Time and 3 a.m. Eastern Time out of New Zealand. Good luck, Rocket Labs, and good luck, Electron. This is obviously the NASA mission, and it's going to be setting up a bunch of CubeSats, and it's going to be great. One of my friends, Trevor Mollman, and NASA spaceflight photographer Brady Kingston are at the launch, so you should definitely check out their work. Like, if you follow me and you don't follow them, what are you even doing? Because they are amazing photographers. You should check out their work. Support. I know Trevor has a Patreon. I don't think Brady does. And if you support Trevor, you actually might see me in his Discord. So, little incentive to check him out. But the next SpaceX launch has completed its static fire. That is the Falcon 9 launch with GPS 3-01. And the static fire was completed last night, and the launch is currently scheduled for Tuesday, December 18th, between 9:24 and 9:50 a.m. Eastern Time from Launch Complex 40. They will be expending this booster on the flight due to the margins needed to complete the mission. It's a bit weird because this isn't really a heavy satellite, and they haven't said exactly where they're going with it. I mean, it's going to medium Earth orbit, but it's not really clear if it's going to a medium transfer orbit or actual medium or Earth orbit. I'm going to assume that it's going to the full orbit, given that they have to expend the booster, because they've launched GTO satellites that are heavier than this thing and recovered the booster. Like, they've launched GTO satellites that are almost double the weight of this. Yeah. Good luck to SpaceX and their team as they attempt this mission. Next up, a Soyuz launch is going to happen, and that is going to be carrying the CSO-1 satellite to orbit. CSO stands for, and I'm going to butcher this because it's pretty sure it's half French, but it's the Compositant Spatial Optique Military Reconnaissance Satellite, so it's a spy sat. But that launch is happening from French Guiana aboard a Soyuz 2.1B with a frigate upper stage. And that launch is scheduled for Tuesday, December 18th at 11:37 a.m. Eastern Time. And then our final launch of the next couple of days is the NRL-71. A new launch date has been established for Tuesday, December 18th at 8:57 p.m. Eastern Time. This is the Delta IV Heavy that was supposed to launch out of Vandenberg last week, but scrubbed with 7 seconds left in the count. And if it goes off on time, this could be a really pretty launch to see. Like, it's at the right time where you get that twilight effect where the plume gets illuminated against the black sky with the setting sun, and it's just some really awesome photography comes from these launches. So really fingers crossed that they can get this. But good luck to ULA and the National Reconnaissance Office team. I don't think I said good luck to Arianespace, but good luck to them with their Soyuz launch. So yeah. But I'm Kyle Henry. Thank you so much for watching. We post newscasts like this every Tuesday and Friday. So if you enjoyed, hit the like and subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you can stay up to date on what's going on in space. We also post the sources for today's stories in the description down below, so you can check our facts. And if something doesn't seem right, let us know. We strive for 100% accuracy in our coverage. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.